In there.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you jumping on, rolling with the punches. Take two on this. So second annual or third annual Bon Scott Bash, July 9th. Talk about how you got involved with the third edition and the second one.
Well, a few friends of mine who've been a part of it from the beginning suggested me for something, and I tried to do it. I tried to do my best, and they asked me back, so I guess I did okay.
And so what's that collaborative effort like with artists that you're not totally familiar with playing with or collaborating with?
Well, I did it once, and it worked out pretty good. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem.
All right. So were you always an AC/DC guy, or what's that story with finding your way into the band, especially those Bon Scott years?
Oh yeah, I love it. You know, as a singer, it was very intimidating because who can compare to Bon Scott? Certainly not me. And I thought it was very intimidating as a singer. And as a singer, who wanted to be in a rock band, in a rock band like ACDC. I don't have that kind of, you know, presence. So it was really intimidating. And then to be asked to sing one of the songs that sort of encapsulates that was kind of difficult. But I worked it out.
Right. So the birthday bash this year is at the Cutting Room, legendary venue. We're both New York guys. So what's it like playing at a venue that holds that much history?
Oh, it's amazing. It's incredible. Um, I played a couple of times myself. I played there with Living Color. I played there with my own projects, and it's fun. It's a fun room. It's a really fun room. It sounds great. It's always a good time when we're there.
Right. So can you give fans a little sneak peek about what you might be singing, what's kind of on the bill, what might be played that evening?
I don't know what I'm singing that night, but it will be interesting. The list of singers is incredible. The band is incredible. Marisha Vox is an incredible singer. I highly recommend you come and check it out.
I will be there on that Thursday. I took off of work and everything, jumping back down to New York for 24 hours. Very excited to see it this year. And so, shifting gears a little bit, staying on that New York topic, you were on Jimmy Kimmel a couple of months back. So how did you guys get on that show?
You know, in New York City, we all pretty much live and breathe and are a part of the New York scene. So it was really interesting. You know, this is Jimmy Kimmel was just came back from his self-imposed hiatus, and you know, and they asked, and we were really ready, willing, and able to do so. So it was a good time. We had a great time, and it was fun.
Right. And so with that, publicly broadcasted, millions of people watching, hasn't been the first time you guys have been on a massive stage like that. You're the theme song to CM Punk in the WWE. So did he
Yeah,
ever reach out to you guys about, hey, I want you guys as my theme? How did that effort work out?
yeah. We did last year, I believe. We did WrestleMania in Las Vegas. That was 60,000 people, and that was incredible. It was the biggest crowd we've ever played in front of, and it was just amazing. It was an amazing night.
Right, and you guys live in color, Joan Jett, Motorhead, like a select few people that have played multiple WrestleManias or live. What was that like knowing, we're going to play this one song for about 3 or 4 minutes. Let's put all our effort into this one.
We CM Punk is a good friend and a really good guy, and we just decided, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it as best we can, and we tried really hard to make it a really eventful sort of thing.
Right. And so how did that collaboration when you first met him? Was there an initial, he was a big fan and wanted you guys on as his theme song, or
Well, it turns out when he was a kid in Little League, you know, the when his team went out on the field, his coach had the presence of mind to play Cult of Personality when when the team went out, and it stuck in his head. And when he was back, when he first started wrestling, he used the song all the time. And when he got to the WWE, um, as the story goes, they said, "Okay, we have a band, and they will play. We have a band that does the entrance music for our performers. We will get you a song that sounds like that." And he was like, "No, no, 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 no. I don't want that. I want this. I want that particular song." And he insisted upon it, which is good for us, obviously. But you know, I really thank him for being, sort of steadfast and wanting to make the real impression with the real song. So we're happy for it. It's definitely been a boost to us.
right. And I remember when I was a wrestling fan, you guys were like one of the first theme songs I remember hearing. Flash forward a couple of years later, I finally got to see you on the Extreme tour at Foxwoods, and I was
Wow.
blown away. Actually, there's a video you walked like right up to my row when I was there reviewing the show, and I was just blown away, like completely blown away. My favorite, Letter to the Landlord. I have to ask, how did that song get written? What's the story behind that? Because it's my favorite song.
Well, as it is always is, living in New York is a very, very, daunting task. You know, rents are ridiculous. The price of living in New York City has always been very, very high. And we sort of want to talk about that. That's sort of like our stock and trade. That's what we do. We talk about the things that are going on in the world we live in. And, we've lived here all of our lives. And we wanted to make sure that people understood that this is real. That this is not some sort of concocted thing for us and anybody. That living here in New York City is takes a lot of effort, and this song sort of reflects that.
Right, right. So then with, all these years later, we mentioned Kimmel, we mentioned WrestleMania. The one that stands out to me most from your live performances is the NPR Tiny Desk. And I
Yeah,
love the Tiny Desk series. So how did you guys get on that show? I always find it interesting how they have Dua Lipa, the Black Crowes, Sabrina Carpenter, Living Color. They have such a broad range of musicians on that program.
what it was about. We sort of encapsulate a whole lot of different sort of genres of music in what we do. Um, and they called and asked if we would do it, and we said yeah, in a heartbeat.
Was there any nerves going into that since it's so stripped down?
Not really. I mean, there was some nerves. I will admit we were a little nervous because it's in front of a live audience, and it's you know we usually play to larger audiences and play a lot louder than we did that night, and it was fun. Personally, I love having interactions with an audience, and because it was a live show, and because people were there and they get to feel it and get to experience it firsthand, was the most important thing about doing that thing.
And is a tour maybe like that, stripped down acoustic guitars? Is that something you foresee in the future or as a solo effort?
We do that. I'm doing, as a matter of fact, I'm doing a show this Friday, which with my other band. I have a soul band that I work with, and in the midst of it, I'm going to do an acoustic set. Brian and I are going to be doing an acoustic set of Living Color songs and other songs. But we will be doing that in and around for a couple months. And it's been fun doing it.
Is there what's the I guess the preparation going into an acoustic show where you know that it's very stripped down, very raw?
But we have just to know that you know, with a band, you have everybody trying, sort of pulling together to get the emotions across. and it's a little bit difficult and a little more intimate when it's just you and the guitar player, and the guitar player happens to be Vernon Reid, which is one of the most amazing guitar players in the world. So it's a it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a pain in the ass too because Vernon Reid is a pain in the ass, but it's fun.
Right. So, talking about your collaborations with Vernon Reid, the rest of the band, 10 years since 2017 Shade came out.
Mm.
Is there any plans for a full-length album in the works or
You're in the midst of working on a new record right now.
okay.
I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't know if it's going to come out, but we're gonna make a record one way or the other.
All right, awesome.
We want to make sure that have all the I's dotted and T's crossed.
Right. And as a big vinyl fan myself, will we get any pressings on vinyl so I can add to the collection a bit?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love vinyl too. So yeah, we will make definitely have some vinyl recordings of this.
May I ask how much you have in your collection? I'm a big vinyl head.
I used to have a lot when I was younger in my parents' house. All of my real records are at my parents' house. But I have a few, like I have about 60, 70 in my apartment right now.
Wow. And do you remember that first album you picked up and you were like, I want Led Zeppelin 1, I want to be a rock star. Rolling Stone Sticky Fingers, this is the one.
It was the original cast recording of Jesus Christ Superstar,
Oh wow.
and from the motion picture, and I heard Carl Anderson, and I was like, I want to do that. That's what I love. I love that, you know. And fortunately for me, a couple of years ago, about over 10 years ago, I had a chance to do a stage production of Jesus Christ Superstar with Ted Neely, who is the original Jesus from the movie.
Right, and you beat me to my next question. I was going to say you, Paul Stanley, Sebastian Bach have all done Broadway performances. So
Yeah.
what's that like going on Broadway from one stage to another stage, but more theatrical?
Oh, it's fun. You know, I first started out as an actor, so this is all. It's sort of like it's like a circle for me. So it's fun. It's lots of fun.
Right, and not the first time you were, acting. You mentioned your career before. You were in Platoon. What was that like working with Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen, being in a movie that has gone down in legend?
Well, at the time, they were just they weren't the mega movie stars that they are now. Everybody was just sort of starting on their career. Charlie, all of them was starting in their career. They went on to become amazing, super talented people. They are amazing and very super talented people. So that was it was interesting. We spent months in the jungles of the Philippines, and we went through basic training. We really knew exactly what we were doing when we were there. So that was a very interesting time.
Right. And so would you say that, acting at that time was as difficult as a full-length tour on the road, or would you say they were equally or separately different challenges?
Oh, there's separate challenges to all of them, but it's all the same sort of. It requires the same kind of work. It requires the same kind of homework that you'd need and preparation that you'd need for a tour or for a performance that you do in an acting gig. You have to know where you are, who you are, what you're doing, what you're trying to get across, the point you're trying to make. It's all the same sort of thing.
Right. And would you say the same preparation goes into remembering lines as remembering lyrics on a stage?
Absolutely, because I can't remember either usually. So, but I work. You have to work at it in order to get it.
Right. So a little while after Platoon, December 2000, the reunion at CBGB's, why was that the perfect time and the perfect place?
CBGB's is where we started, really. My first gig with Living Color was at CBGB's. We sort of cut our teeth there. We got signed to a record contract at CBGB's. in the dressing room of CBGBs. CBGBs holds a significant amount of emotion for us. So for us to sort of figure out, okay, if we're going to do this, there's only one place we can do this, and that's CBGBs.
And so fans like me and the younger generation that might not have been around for CBGBs, I know it as the John Varvatos store, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
What was that whole scene like? I mean, Pat Benatar, Patti Smith, the Ramones, you guys.
the police, everybody played there. It's literally a dive bar. It is the dive bar of dive bars in the middle of Lower Manhattan, and it required you to be ready for CBGBs. You know, sawdust on the floor, beer and vomit everywhere. The bathrooms were a task, to say the least. Um, so you had to really be ready to be there and ready to do it. But once you got there, once you started going, it was nothing but fun.
Right. And when you guys were playing there, did you think like, wow, we made it? Like I can now die in peace. I played at CBGB's, or did you always hope for
You played downtown at CBGB's, hoping to play at Madison Square Garden at some point, and that's what we were looking forward to. It was like we want to get. Hopefully, this is a good stepping stone, but it's a great place to sort of learn what you're doing. If you could play at CBGB's, you can play anywhere in the world.
right? So what did it mean for your band, especially when they closed the doors a couple of years after the reunion and they called it a night?
It was the saddest day of the world. It was the most heart wrenching thing I've ever had to deal with. To know that this part of my life is going to be gone forever, like losing one of your parents.
Right. And then what was that whole music scene like? Day in and day out. Lou Reed, you guys, anyone could just pull up to the bar and plug in and play.
Yeah, I mean, and people just and you just walk in and you see some of the most amazing music ever on a Tuesday night. You just walk in and some amazing band is playing, and you go, "Wow, that was wild." That was the greatest sort of thing. Like that music at that point, for at least for me, music still had an impact that you can't measure.
Right, right. And so finally, knowing that, Cutting Room is right up the street from
Yeah,
CBGB's, just a little bit, all in the same neighborhood. What does playing in New York every single time mean to you? Just being home.
just was exactly that. It means I'm home. You know, um, I remember some of the first times I played CBGBs. My mother would drive me to the gig, and she was like, "What is this place?" I was like, "Well, it's a gig. I gotta go." And those places like that, or Tramps, or Irving Plaza, or the Ritz, all those places hold so much, so such strong memories for me.
Right. And there's one more venue I want to specifically touch on because it's no longer there. What was the Limelight like back in the day? I mean, in a Gothic church of all places.
Ridiculous. It was a ridiculous place. It was ridiculous. Just to go in there, just to go dance, was ridiculous. It was crazy. It was one of the craziest places ever.
Right. And if you had to rank, your favorite venue, would CBGB be at the top forever or
Always, CBU is always number one.
gotcha. So I want to thank you again for rolling with the punches and sitting and talking to me. July 9th, Bon Scott third annual birthday bash. What do you hope fans take away from that one specific show?
It'll be an experience. You should come and see it.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Corey. I really appreciate it.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
So absolutely have a great one.
Right now. Bye bye.